Howdy folks, Mountain View Russ here in Mountain View, Arkansas. So I've been meaning to do this a while. I have got my solar package all completely installed, and I kind of wanted to walk through that with those that are interested. I am not a solar expert. I didn't have any solar skills before I installed this. I'm a handy guy. I've done a lot of electrical work around the house, stuff like that. So I think if you just keep all that in mind, follow code, don't be stupid, you'll be just fine. If you've never done solar before, you could probably pull it off. So anyway, let's take a look at what I've got. So I'm inside now. Before I came in, I went and killed the shore power. We're 100% on solar and the inverter. You may recognize these folks, Bill and Deb. I write tinyhouseadventures.com YouTube channel. Anyway, I followed them during my whole build to get a lot of information, and they have a friend. His name's Marvin. I don't know his last name, but Marvin is a solar expert, and he made himself available to talk about solar. I know he helped Bill and Deb install theirs, and he's a good friend of theirs. And in one of their videos, they actually they interviewed Marvin, and he gave a Gmail address, and I think it's askmarvin@gmail.com, something like that. I don't know if he's still doing it, but he took a call from me, and we just kind of chatted about various options. And he mentioned he does self-build cells with various equipment, inverters and stuff like that. He also mentioned a company called SungoldPower. Ultimately, I ended up using their products. So anyway, I'll show you what I got there with SunGold. By the way, before I came in here, I did kill the shore power. I think I said that already. And I had the TV set running with Bill and Deb running on it, and you can see it's still running. So that's nice. I'm sure most inverters do that, but this thing has somewhere around a 10 millisecond transfer switch built in. So, sensitive devices like TV sets, computers, if you flip over to solar from shore power, my experience is everything keeps running. So anyway, let's take a look outside. So I'm up on a ladder here on the showing the roof and my panels. Like I mentioned, I'm not a solar expert, and when I got started with solar, I saw there was 12 volt, 24 volt. I think Bill and Deb are running 24 volt and 48 volt. And because I was a newbie, I was familiar with 12 volt. I wasn't sure about 24 and 48, so I went with 12 volt. Today, I don't know that I'd make that same decision, and I'll explain why. This product's working just fine, but there's other reasons you might want to consider 24 or 48 volt when you spec out your solar package. Regardless, I'm 12 volt, and unless SungoldPower sends me a complete 24 volt system to replace this, I'm not going to change it. So you can see I've got 8 panels up here. I bought a turnkey package from SungoldPower. It was a 12 volt, 600 watt solar with a 3000 watt pure sine wave inverter. And it also included the charge controller, all their products. After I got it installed, and I think I mentioned this in a prior video, these racks up here, because of the width of the trailer, I had a gap, and it just drove me nuts. So I just ordered 2 more panels to do 8 panels, total of 800 watts. The solar charge controller can handle 800 watts of input from the solar, so I thought, why not? You know, it was just a little over $100 a panel. So I've talked about my ladder racks before, I think. I used ladder racks and kind of modified them. So everything's bolted into the side, no holes penetrating the roof. I've got you know, all my cables. Kind of hard to see, but what I did was a series, two series that are parallel together. So these panels put out about, I think, somewhere around 22 volts a piece at a little under 6 amps, 5 point something amps. So what that gives me by doing series, I've got 80 volts per series, and then I bring them together, and you may see the right over there underneath the back panel, the Y adapters, and I bring them together, and that gives me about 82 volts at a little over 10 amps. So I was happy with that. I've got my inline fuses up here. Each series is I got a 10 amp fuse, and then after they're combined, I do a 20 amp fuse. Another thing I did, just because I really didn't know, I haven't been on the road with this thing with the solar panels installed. I have had a 1,000-mile trip in this thing with the inverter installed, and on shore power, and everything worked great. My next trip out, this will be the first time out with the solar panels on the roof. I've got everything bolted and screwed down. They're not going anywhere unless I have some dramatic accident. But I built this little air dam here as well, just to kind of help divert air over the top, so I wasn't having a wing there. I don't know how much good it'll do. I don't know the dynamics of air, if it's going to come under the side and lift, but I see a lot of guys with solar panels off the roof, and I haven't heard of any issues. This piece of metal actually come from this cargo trailer. That's the piece of metal that they trim out the door, the inside the barn door in the back. If you've got a cargo trailer, you probably got one of them. So anyway, came in handy. I got it all attached down, and we'll see how it works. So let's go to the back. So in the garage here, this is, like I said, if you're watching this the first time, I've got barn doors. And when I built myself a garage. It's you know, about a foot deep. So I took a foot of the cargo space, although I do have all the space underneath the bed for storage. In fact, I'll show you that right now. I just built these drawers, got the last one in today, so full extension, 4-foot drawers. I mentioned early on that Vicki and I are musicians, wannabe musicians, and we use this trailer to go to festivals. In fact, in a few weeks we're leaving for Texas. Gonna be there a couple of weeks for festival and then some visiting. So that's where we'll carry the instruments, and then I got the other one for other gear. Anyway, I chased a rabbit there. Sorry, but that's new. I got the drawer slides off of Amazon. You know, the heavy-duty 4-foot. Not cheap, but I think they'll be good. So anyway, we have been on the road with this, with just the inverter, and you know, that still charges the batteries, and we didn't have any issues at all, no heat issues. Now we're 100% on solar, so I'll show you what comes with the package I bought. So you get the inverter. It's a 3,000 watt inverter, and it's got a lot of features. You can look on their website at the specs, but it's got a setting for various battery settings, from, you know, your standard lead acid batteries all the way up to gel, AGM, several different lithiums, including the iron phosphates, which I'm running. and they have the information right here for that setting. And then a lot of lights to let you know what the state of the inverter is right now. Because I'm on solar, I'm inverting. I've killed the shore power, so it's inverting right now. You do get a little information here on this panel here. It's got the power. It's producing 121 volts. Battery right now is hanging around 14.3. And it's abnormal, it says, because there's no shore power coming in. So like I said, I'm not a, I'm certainly not a technical person when it comes to inverter technology, but that was the point of this package. I didn't really have any issues installing it. I had a few questions, and I contacted SunGold support, and they were typically with me the very next day. I believe the support, pretty sure the support was in China, so it was the next day, before they could get back with me. But I've had good support from them. This here is a cable that goes back inside to a remote dash, and I forgot to show you inside. I'll go back in and show you. That gives you all the information that's on this panel plus some. So this came with the package. This is a solar charge controller, and it's their equipment. Like I said, it's able to handle 800 watts of inbound solar. So right now it's charging the battery from the solar at 14.4 volts, and I'm bringing in 80 volts from the solar. That's my battery level right now. Battery's at 100%. Looks like it's pushing a little over 10 amps into the battery. 154 watts. I don't know what that actually means, 8 amp hours. Maybe that's what it estimates the battery's ability is right now, 8. I don't know. This is where I lose my technical expertise. That's the temperature on the battery right now, no errors. And we're back to the home screen. So it's not, it's not super complicated. Somebody that doesn't know anything about solar can hook it up without a problem. The manuals are pretty good. They're typical for a technical manual. There's a lot of stuff that could be more user friendly, but all in all, I was able to figure it out. Let me go back. So this is the my breaker between the solar and the charge controller, and I've got looks like I got a 15 amp breaker there, and I'm running 10 gauge wire. So because of the amperage, 10 gauge is sufficient. That's coming in the roof through a gland up there. I didn't get to show you that. It's on the back side. This stuff does not come. None of the, it does come with some wiring. I think maybe 20-30 feet of 10 gauge wire to wire directly into the charge controller. But you're gonna have to add some wiring to it unless you're just doing a real basic setup. And I did, and that's fine. Like this, the cable coming from the charge controller down, and this ultimately goes to my distribution block here. That's 6 gauge. That did not come with it. So just assume really none of the wire you're gonna need is gonna come with the package. That's extra. Same here, because I'm running 12 volt, and because of the amperage of this, the ability to pull 100 amps out of those batteries at once. They have a 100 amp capacity, 100 amp hours, but I suppose you could pull 100 amps before the BMS shuts it down. I don't know. Regardless, required 4/0 cables. So this kind of falls under the category that I mentioned earlier about 12 versus 24 versus 48 volts. Because I was comfortable with 12 volts, and I knew I couldn't kill myself unless I really tried real hard with 12 volts, I went with 12 volts. I think when you get up to 48 volts, you can actually electrocute yourself, so you have to be careful. But when you go with 12 volts, this cabling is expensive. I don't know exactly what I paid, but you can look at it on Amazon and see. You know, it's not cheap. So you know, if you go with a higher voltage, the amperage is going to be less, and you'll be able to run a lot of these cables in a lot smaller gauge. You know, potentially 10 to 6 gauge wire instead of this 4/0 wire. Let me go to the batteries. So the batteries also came with the package. So it was 200 amp hour 12 volt batteries. The iron phosphorus 4 life PO4. I think that's the latest technology on lithium batteries. They do have a built-in BMS. We can't really see it from here, but it does give you some basic information. You know, the voltage and the temperature, pretty much everything we've seen up there on the inverter. And as you know, it's got the protection in there. The batteries are self-heating. So if you're, you know, installed different than me, where I'm inside a temperature controlled world here, these batteries will turn on their internal heaters if they need to keep them at the proper temperature. Obviously it's parasitic, so if it has to heat itself, it's going to use some of your battery. Of course, I think the inverter's parasitic too. It's got to use some of your power to run itself, even before it's producing AC. So that's kind of it for the solar package. Anything else, you know, the fuses, the shut off switch, there's another name for it, I can't think of it right now. The Victron Links distributor. This is the Victron smart shunt. Those are separate items. They don't come from SunGold, they come from Victron, but they're very popular items, and I don't know that SunGold has a comparable item. But I've been very happy with it. I've been running several days just on the inverter and haven't had any issues. We're taking a trip, like I said, in a couple of weeks, going to Texas for a few weeks. And while we'll have full hookups, I'm going to kill the shore power when I do have sunny days and just see how this system holds up. And I'll report back how that goes. So that's kind of it about the inverter. I've been very happy with it. I like the company. They've seemed to have a good product, and I approve. I thought I'd also talk about a few more items here that aren't really SunGold products, but I think I have kind of reviewed my electrical before, but I'll just briefly go over it. So, you know, we have a 30 amp shore power plug. I went ahead and put a inline Progressive Industries EMS surge protector, so that's protect me from, you know, bad shore power. And it comes in from there, and then I go directly into the inverter. So that's going to come in one of these. I think it's this bottom one, yeah. And then this is my out wire. That's my load, and I'm going back into this really cool raceway and coming back over here. I've got a little connectivity box here because I didn't want to waste wire, so I brought them together in that box. And then ultimately I go to a 30 amp breaker that's inside. I wanted to have a way to kill the power from inside, so that's in one of the closets. And then I come back out into my sub panel where I've got all my branch circuits there. And then the rest of it is, you know, your regular AC wiring. You know, I've got cables coming down, going back inside the cargo trailer, providing all the AC. As far as the DC is concerned, obviously the batteries are coming up and going into the Link's distributor, and from there I send out power to the inverter. I've got power going to this DC fuse block. Got power coming in from the solar, and yeah, this is feeding my DC block here. And so then all my different DC branches are fused here, and they go back inside up this raceway and back inside the trailer. So a pretty basic setup with the DC. Just had to have a shut off switch there in case you need to kill everything. This will kill everything. If you're on shore power, killing that, the shore power AC will still be running through the inverter and then back up to your sub panel. So this does not kill your AC, but it will kill your DC. So anyway, nothing really complicated. If you're handy with electrical, you understand this in spite of all the wires. I do like these raceways. I seen that on Explorers.live, and you can see I've got a lot of cables, so it helps keep it clean. So anyway, that's it. Geez, I'm really done with this conversion. We got a few little things I'd like to do. I want to put a window in the main entry door. Haven't got that yet, but wow, I can't believe it's been a little over a year that I started this. I haven't worked full time on it, but winter time comes here, you can't work on it, but I'm really happy with it. It turned out well. I am gonna haul this thing to Discount Tires next week and replace these tires here. Those are the factory tires. They may be just fine, but I really don't know a whole lot about the company. So I'm gonna take it to Discount and get some good years on it. That seems to be the tire for these. I think these are 15-inch rims. So gonna replace them just to be on the safe side, and then we're gonna hit the road. I'll report back after we get back and let everybody know how the solar behaved. Hey, thanks for watching. Be sure and like and subscribe if you will. Thanks.